Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
You're here. I'm here. Everyone's
Everybody's here.
I was just like, canonically this week, Respawn should have missed the show because, Demon had a thing, and then I had a thing, and then Respawn should have had a thing, but Respawn doesn't have
I did have a thing. I flew in at 2 o'clock in the morning this morning.
Oh, so you're getting on a plane to, not a plane from. I saw your plane comment last night. It was like, is he
It was
home
playing from site
or
to
going
home.
away? Ah.
Well, we better get the show started if Respawn's going to be falling asleep.
I'm up now, and I have to be up because the wife's morning sickness has got her out of commission, so I have to be daddy daycare while she's morning sick and
He's
very
consumed his
pregnant.
Black Rifle coffee.
I can't have coffee anymore. I miss coffee.
Uh-oh. What happened? That's not good.
I thought I told y'all. So I was, remember how I was falling asleep all the time during the show while driving at work, just all the time.
We didn't know about the driving thing. We knew the thing about the show.
I was falling asleep while driving many times.
And the work thing we knew about, but driving, that's a little bit dangerous.
Huh? That's what I thought it was. I honestly thought it was like late stage narcolepsy, right? And so I went and at Christmas time, this past Christmas, I was there, and my buddy said, "Yo, you should probably get checked out for sleep apnea." That's what that sounds like. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And I got checked out, and sure enough, I have like they said that like 30 events per night is like extreme. I have 140 events on average per night.
Good job.
140. So sleep apnea is one thing. Whatever I have, I don't know what the hell it is, but I got that checked out.
Very bad sleep apnea because you don't even breathe while you sleep, right? I mean, as a fellow sleep apnea sufferer, like mine was somewhere in that like 30 to 40 range.
Yeah,
of it's severe. You need to sleep with a machine to make sure you breathe overnight and don't die. You are probably actually a zombie at this point, classified legally as a zombie. If you're by events they mean you stop breathing. So I'm pretty sure you're now a zombie.
Well, not anymore. I'm actually sleeping now, right? But the thing about it is I didn't even know I had it. Like, and the doc says based on the structure of my throat, I probably had it my whole life. But just when you're younger, the lack of sleep, you just deal with it. Your body's like, okay, whatever. 2 hours, fine. You're
young and made of nerve at that point.
Yeah, but when I got older, it really started to hit me and affect me, and a bunch of other things started happening. And I forgot how we got on this topic.
Yep. We were going
to start the show, and then that's how we got on this topic.
And then but when y'all brought something up,
I'm
falling asleep while driving or something.
No, that was just you.
I sidetracked us. I apologize, but sleep apnea is no fun. But I'm glad that's getting sorted because breathing is good.
Yeah.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. Dedicated in bringing you all the latest information, news, and opinions. This is the best show for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we share tips, tricks, and tools to help you succeed and enjoy playing even more. So with all that said, let me hand you over to your hosts, the Triumph Hunting Titan Nitedemon, the pink-panted pansy Peroty, and your Hunter Master Ranger, Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life!
Now can I start the show?
I mean, I thought you had already. I mean, I thought you said that my name is No One Respawns.
Nobody wants to hear this rambling.
I am your hunter, and then I thought I heard you say that you were the Titan named Nitedemon, and the other Titan was Peroty. And then we have a guest star today, whose name is Don, and he plays what? What's your name, Don?
Say it properly.
Don Ozarda. My bad.
It's Donny. You have to say Donny.
It's not Donny. That's not his name. Donny. His in-game name is Don Ozarda, even though I can't pronounce it.
No, it's Donny.
It's not
Donny. You can't tell me
otherwise. Well, I mean, I can read. It's not Donny. The words say different. Words say you're wrong, and you can't read.
Words don't mean things.
Words mean all the things. As a matter of fact, words mean so many things. We make up new words for those words to mean things too.
No, those words aren't real. I wonder if we've lost him at this point. He's just like, I'm done. I'm out.
He knows what we're like. He's here all the time. He knows exactly what we're like.
Come on. The Otani going home.
But speaking of which, Donny, what's your main class? Let everybody know.
I main a hunter.
That's right, because he's got good common sense. That's why I like him so much. What's your favorite weapon?
A toaster.
That's obvious.
What are you using PvE and PvP and PV both and Gambit and everything? Every part of your existence is what? The toaster. Just for the new lights, the toaster is the nickname for something called the Elijah. For something called the
Elijah. Oh.
No, it's definitely not Elijah.
No, it's not. I forgot what it's called.
But it is now dubbed Elijah.
The Elijah.
That's it. Okay.
I did, Bubby. I'm sorry. I did say bad word.
There you go, Elijah. Keep at it. Good work. Every time, just be like, "Hey."
He keeps me honest.
Jotun?
Something I can get behind.
Jotun, that's right.
Joe Ton over there.
Anyway, so what brings you to our show today, there, Donny boy?
Are you going to start the stream?
Oh, the stream, yeah. Is it even up?
I thought it was live already.
Oh, my
Whoops!
Well, Demon asked me to help you guys out last week, but last week I unfortunately couldn't. So I offered for this week, and he said, "Why not?" So that's why I'm here.
Yeah,
I mean, you always help us outside the stream, regardless. Like Donny has been religious at putting anything that he thinks we may have missed, like whether it's graphics, whether it's builds, whether it's secrets, whether it's anything that he finds that he thinks might be relevant to the game or just interesting in general. He's been super, super helpful about putting that in one or all of the Discord channels where it's relevant. So, all in all, really, really good person to have in the chat, for real. So I appreciate all his efforts. And, and I'm actually not gaslighting. I know it's hard to tell when Respawn's being sarcastic, but this time it's for real. Don's a really good part of the community, and he just does a lot for us, and he asks for nothing in return, which is kind of psychotic because other streamers pay people to do what he does for free.
It's good thing we're not streamers,
right? Or YouTubers or professionals or even very good at the game.
Yeah, just professionals. We're not professional. We do things in those areas, but we're not professional.
I want to be a professional idiot.
You already are. But yeah, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Donny. I asked you to fill in last week for Peroty because we knew that he was going to be away, and we had the Edge of Fate reveal. And I'm glad that Peroty's back this week because we can get both your views. We had mine and Beastborn's last week, but it'd just be nice to get your takes on the Edge of Fate and the Rite of 9 and Heavy Metal this week. So did you want to go first, Donny? I mean, we were chatting in the chat, weren't we, about we were a bit...
mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the thing is with certain things, I'm like, okay, we're getting refreshments, but some are legitimately just rehashed in a different area or maybe a different version of it. And with a lot of things is something that the community has been asking for a long time. But then at the same point, I'm like, is it a bit too late to bring those things back in or bring in because people asked for them about a year ago or maybe even longer? So it looks all promising. I do hope that they keep it up so it isn't a season as we had the last couple of seasons. Everybody plays in the beginning and then just drops the game and does something else. It takes the fun away a bit.
They just have to come back and get their free dungeon exotics, that's all.
We're not talking about that just yet.
He's jumping ahead, Nitedemon. I heard him.
That's exactly as you always say, Peroty. We just have to wait and we'll get stuff for free.
Mm-hmm. But it is ridiculous that we're doing the Rite of the 9 and they're just giving people exotics just for doing a dungeon. You don't even need to do it on the hardest setting to get this. I'm not an elitist, but I understand the fact that the replayability of going in each week and trying to get the exotic from those dungeons is the fun part about it. It's the old like Destiny 1 version of you're not guaranteed it, but if you do get it, it's really good that it kind of drops. But to just give you a quest that says, oh, pick one of these and you can get it, and that's it. And it's like, so I can just go into the regular version of this that's match made, fumble my way through it, and you're going to give me an exotic that other people have really tried hard to get, okay, fair. I'll do that.
Yeah, but it still it feels a bit different. I don't know what it is, because last time, what was it called again when we had those raid challenges and stuff instead of dungeons?
Oh, Pantheon.
Yeah, that felt like legitimate challenging, and this is just like, oh, go. We have some spare time left in between those episodes, so instead of just giving you something that we worked really hard on that's different than something else, we're just going to give you a new vendor where you can go, get the quest, complete whatever you want to do on whichever difficulty, and get the loot and get out. Doesn't
mad about
feel
the time kidding of it. Yeah. I mean, I honestly, like, I run it through. I think on the I don't think it was Ultimatum. I think it was the next one up, which had this haste modifier. Can we talk about the haste modifier? Where you basically could not stop moving for like 3 seconds, or you would start to die. Your health would just drain. Bungie, come on now. I'm happy to go, gate my health, pick up make me pick up things to stay alive. But like needing to move, it's like, hold on, let me switch a weapon. Nope, you're gonna die if you switch that weapon, and you could only die twice, or you lose your gold ranking on it. That was a lot. Like, we got it done, but that was a lot. But I really enjoyed. Like, I didn't do the Pantheon because, again, I've not done the raids and I don't know those mechanics anyway, let alone the fire tornadoes. But I really enjoyed being able to jump into a dungeon that was match made and just run it through. And yeah, I'm not getting top tier loot. It's not going to be, the best loot in the game. But it was nice doing Spire of the Watcher and just being able to sort of learn where all those stupid nodes were. Because I've run it like a time or 3 months ago, but like I haven't run enough time to like know it in any real way. So it was nice just to be able to casually go through and be like, let me run this dungeon and learn it a little bit with no stakes, with just 2 blueberries who are like, we're also screwing up our way through this. Like, we'll get through it, but it's fine. Like, it was almost a menagerie style, like, yeah, you may fail a whole bunch, but you're going to get through it and you're going to get something out of it, for doing this, which felt really nice just to be able to go in and say, I can run this sort of without the fear of spending hours or an hour and getting nothing out of it. And I enjoyed, I haven't done an Ultimatum version, but I enjoyed, running the harder version with, people that I could, talk to and work with. And I had a good time with it. Like, again, I didn't do Pantheon, but I enjoyed this, Pantheon light version of it, of the dungeons. And, yeah.
But do you not think, I mean, I know we joke about it, if you wait long enough, Bungie do give you whatever. But do you not think that it is a little bit of it cheapens the exotic and the dungeon itself? I know they've been out for a considerable amount of time, but so have the raids. And I know we have the raid rotations that you can go in and farm those raids, but you're not guaranteed. You could play those raids 10 times in that week and still not get the exotic to drop from the end of that raid. This is like, pick up this quest, choose an exotic, and go and get it. I feel that it cheapens the dungeon itself.
I was definitely surprised that it wasn't gated at least a difficulty level, that it was just go do it and you get this. But also, I would also argue that hasn't Bungie just cheapened exotics to the point of they're barely exotic?
Yeah.
And they were, they were offering, the Hierarchy of Needs, the special bow, the Navigator Trace Rifle that does something, I don't even remember what. Oh yeah, firing at your allies gets you woven mail.
Yeah.
And then the Galahorn Catalyst, which I had to double check because I was like, I am 99% sure I had.
Yeah, I did as well.
I had it. That's why, but it was there available to pick up, and I was like, just go double check. And I did check, and I did have it because I did do it legitimately back, when the 20th anniversary thing came out 2 years ago, whatever that was. But I was like, okay, guys, can you not offer me a thing that I already have? I think Fallout or somebody was like, well, I'm going to pick it up just to see what happens because I already have it, and it does nothing because you already have it. But if you already had 3 exotic, if you already had those 2 exotics in the catalyst, it was like, well, there's nothing here for me. But in which case, good for you. You ran enough times to get it to drop.
But yeah, the thing is, if you've done it enough times and you've got the exotics to drop, the thing that's there for you is the ultimatum mode. The doing the harder versions of it. So
yeah, the shinies, and we've learned that people will hunt shinies.
But will they? I mean, what's your take on this, Donny?
Will we hunt shinies? Well, with everything that's coming up, is it worth it?
Exactly. that's what me and Respawn were saying last week. Is like we were going through reading what Bungie was saying about the different tiers of the weapons that are going to be coming with the Edge of Fate, and they said that these weapons that we're getting with the Rite of the Nine are in the middle. They're like a 3. So
tier 3
are
out of
they
5.
really worth it? To be honest, I mean, if they said that they're a 3 and have potential to be upgraded to maybe a 4 or 5, yeah. I mean, they're ultimately going to be better than the weapons that we actually do have now that aren't in a kind of graded system. And let's face it, they're going to get us to try and clear out our vaults to get more weapons that are going to be in this tier system and not necessarily the ones that we currently have. But what's your take on the exotics, Donny? I mean, do you care, or do you think that it's a cheap version?
I used to care more about them, to be honest. It's everything that they did with them, and if we make a build or someone makes a build with it, and it's a bit overpowered, instead of, for example, just trying to nerf a mod that comes out of an artifact that makes it broken. No, what do? They nerf the weapon. And it's just, an exotic doesn't feel exotic anymore, because I have, for a pulse rifle, for example, I used to love to bring my Vigilance Wing into PvP. It doesn't do anything extra anymore. I have legendary pulse rifles who do so much more than my exotic that it's a shame what they have done to it, because it's supposed to be the weapons that have certain perks that are so much better than legendary ones, but it's not the same anymore.
Respawn, who I know has no thought about exotics in dungeons and grinding for things.
No, he does, because he never gets them. So he's like, "Yoo-hoo! I can get one."
No, I've gotten most of the ones in the game. The only ones I haven't gotten is the last 2 dungeons and the last raid. Everything else I got. But for some reason, they've always been difficult for me to get. But eventually, I end up getting most of them. And for what I think about this is, they gave rewards. Like I just did the dungeon with Renard, right? And he says that he didn't have the navigator until just now. He's like, "Dude, I got the navigator from one of the quests." I'm like, "Cool."
I didn't either. I had
glad
the
you
choice
got
of the bow or the navigator, and I went with the navigator because I hadn't got either one of them. And I was thinking, well, that one I've heard a lot more positive things about. But I feel that even
with that than the
me
bow
getting it,
because the bow is the worst version of another exotic bow that we already have. So it's a worse version. The navigator is good because it's very decent for a trace rifle. If you're running a strand build, that gun creates anchor points for your strand, you know, and then of course it synergizes with all the strand verbs, right? So there you go. It is definitely the one to get if you don't already have the 2 of them, right? But I think for people that already had those things, right, and the Gallahorn Catalyst, it's like, what's the carrot for people like us, right? Because as of right now, I can't even, get the chest at the end, because when I complete a dungeon, it's like, "Oh, sorry, you have to complete the dungeon to get this chest." I'm like, but I did. I literally just did, right? And to combat that, at least Bungie, I don't know how long it's going to be, but at least for this week, in order to combat the chest not opening, when you kill just regular enemies in the in the Spire of the Watcher, there's a chance for them to drop the same weapons you would get from the chest, which is cool. The greed in me is like, why don't you just make that in every dungeon forever? That's awesome. And just leave the exotic for the boss at the end. Cool. But no, I know that would be too broken. They'd never do that. But it is nice because I got I think I got a wilder what the hell?
Wilder Flights,
that the adept one earlier from just a random, so it's nice that they are dropping these things, but at the same time they shouldn't have to, because call me old-fashioned, but I'm a firm believer that your game should work. And while we're on that topic of games not working, like I've been trying to get the attunement for the auto rifle, the what's this dang thing called? Oh, I already put it away. The ARC auto rifle from the 9. You know what I'm referring to?
Adjudicator or prosecutor? One of those 2. One's the SMG.
One's you're talking about
auto rifle.
Yeah, the prosecutor, because they can get reload doesn't arc blast.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's really confusing is because they've given us weapon attunement, and the
it's
weapon
not
attunement,
attuned.
you can go and select any weapon that's on that kind of back wall, or not a wall, but a wall of weapons. You can go and select any weapon that's there, but you're not going to get the one that you picked if it's not in the featured dungeon for that week. And at no point did Bungie ever say that. They said weapon attuning is going to be available, and it's going to be available very similar to how we had with Onslaught. So that's what's kind of been going round.
So
But at
that's
no
why
point,
I haven't gotten a prosecutor.
yeah,
It's
so annoying, so
because you have to
absolutely
wait for
annoying.
that dungeon to be up. Yeah,
That's
You can select those weapons. You can use those holofoils at the chest, but you get nothing that you've kind of attuned to. So it makes it no point. You've got to wait till that actual dungeon comes up. And at no point did Bungie say, you can only attune to these weapons for this specific dungeon. They made it sound like these weapons you can attune to, and they will be dropping
just
in all of these
them.
Yeah. You'll get the dungeon weapons that were for that specific dungeon. But if you attune to these weapons, you're more than likely to get one of these to drop at some point in your dungeon run. No. I mean, I know they didn't specifically say that, but they didn't specifically not say that. And that is really, really annoying because I think I picked the pulse rifle because I wanted one of the pulse rifles. And I'd done about 3 or 4 runs. I'd done farming of the opening of Spire on the ultimatum mode because it's quite easy to kind of do by yourself without any issues. And all I was getting was wilder fights, holofoils and adept ones. And I'm like, I didn't attune to this. And at no point has Bungie come out and gone, oh, by the way, you can only attune to the weapons that are in that. And it's only through watching other people and talking to other people that it is only for that specific dungeon. So that's why people are more excited for the prophecy to come up when it does come up, because you can then attune to those weapons. I was like, really? Why?
Because that's all it is.
There's no point in that.
The same reason when they said there will be a 3-week rotation, we all thought one thing.
No.
They were like, no, just kidding.
No. Can we go back to that, right? That really made me laugh this week because the whole Destiny community joined me in the frustration of Bungie saying one thing and doing something completely in the opposite direction when it comes to rotations. And I was secretly laughing. I was like, ha ha ha, evil laugh. But it was from what they said in the live stream, because I wrote it down, because I put it into This Week in Destiny when, the video that we put out each week. And they said one dungeon will be the featured dungeon for the week. Okay, yeah, they still did that. I think they said it was going to be on a weekly rotation. And it was quite funny because Swetsicle posted it on Twitter this week and said, he thought he was tripping, but he actually went back and listened to how they presented it. Because I was in the same kind of situation. I was like, I'm going to go back and listen to it. But then Swetsicle's kind of got there before me. They said there'd be a featured dungeon on a rolling basis, is what they said. On a rolling basis. Featured dungeon for the week on a rolling basis. Now that isn't going to be, it's going to be one dungeon for 3 weeks and then another dungeon for 3 weeks. And a rolling basis of 3 dungeons is weekly. And at no point did they communicate their intentions of doing 3 weeks of one dungeon, 3 weeks of another, 3 weeks of another, and then opening up to kind of just be a free-for-all in the end.
Yeah, no. When you said there will be a 3-week rotation or 3 dungeons on a weekly rotation, however you worded it, you knew what everyone was going to take from that. There's 3 dungeons. Week 1 is 1 dungeon. Week 2 is the next dungeon. Week 3, guess what, is the 3rd dungeon.
Yeah.
Not, here's 3 weeks of each of the dungeons one at a time, and then maybe something at the end.
Because if they'd have said that, people would have taken notice of that and gone, okay, this is the way it's going to work. Anybody that had kind of been following this knew that that's what they meant, is that it was going to be rolling each week. There was going to be a featured dungeon. And when it didn't show up, I think it was like
1,000 creators screaming at YouTube. The number of videos and reactions and whatever to being like, I just laughed. Because I was like, okay, well, first we're going to get our content, gorge out of everyone going, Bungie stopped time gating content. Of all the things you could do, time gating content is not the way. This is not the way forward. And then,
Here's what Captain Planet
because you knew, you knew inevitably they were going to come back and do, at the very least, say something. And I was like, now in between 24 and 48 hours, we'll have our next round of videos of Bungie came back and said/did whatever. So see, keeping the content minds alive. But I just had to laugh because, they're going to do something when everyone is saying, guys, we're not interested. We're just not going to play the game for 2 weeks. We're going to, log in at reset, we being the content creators. We're going to log in at reset, check for anything new, and then say, okay, back to game of the moment, back to something else. I'll be back next week, maybe when the new dungeon is up. If you're farming a dungeon hard all week, you don't want to farm it for 2 more weeks. You've done that now.
But I think the annoying thing is that Bungie kind of came out and said, we're not changing the rotation. This is what it's going to be. 3 weeks of this, 3 weeks of this, and 3 weeks of this.
Yep.
And at no point did anybody go, well, there were a lot of people screaming about this. So we must have said something somewhere along the lines for them to go.
Publicity.
I'm sure in a meeting somewhere, the community team is going, guys, we told you this is going to happen. We told you this is exactly how this is going to happen. And guess what? Now it's happened. So what are we going to do? I'm sure DMG and Cosmo and those folks who are hearing this feedback are going, we told you. We tell you every time. And you didn't listen. So here we are. What are we going to do about it?
No, it's when they say it themselves.
And the feedback. Yeah. They're seeing the feedback. It's not like, this is news to them. So it's I'm sure this is getting communicated to, again, whoever's making the decisions that, they hate this. Destiny players hate time gating. There's not a lot you can say about the Destiny community as a whole. As all Destiny players, this, that, or the other, hate time gating. It's pretty much on the short list of, we hate that. Stop introducing artificial barriers into our gameplay. And then sure enough, not even 24 hours later, oh, well, we're going to make a change and we're going to do this and we're going to put them all on a 2-week rotation, then give you a, Ludapalooza at the end of it. Completing the Bungie cycle of do a dumb thing, say nothing, say whoopsie, change the whoopsie into actual what people want, and then rinse and repeat.
Yeah. I mean, even in the TWAB, going back to the TWAB that they published on the 24th of April, they go, more Iron Banner next week because it was coming up that following week. But if you save some engrams, you can get for the next edition of Iron Banner, currently set for May 24th. Okay, so that's not May 20th that's coming up this Tuesday. May 24th is the Friday. So
Iron Banner trials.
When do you think Iron Banner's turning up? Do you think it's turning up on the 20th or do you think it's turning up on the 29th? Or I think it was the 29th was the Tuesday. It's like they can't they communicate stuff like that and don't change it and just leave it there. So the community pass that information on and go, well, they've said it's going to be the 24th, and at no point have they gone back, edited that and said, oh no, we've made a mistake, it's going to be the 20th or the following week, the 27th, or put something out on Twitter to say, oh, we made a mistake in the TWAB, this is this. It's like, come on, guys. I feel that the communication from Bungie is very iffy, and it's got worse, and it's confusing to a lot of people as well, which doesn't
they're
help.
Spending all their money on lawyers at the moment, so you got to give them a break for at least a little while.
Is it only lawyers though, or is it also on Marathon?
Well, lawyers also for Marathon.
Yes.
Yeah. Technically all rolled into one.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I think, I saw Bife say earlier this week, I think on Twitter, there are two problems. The communications are yet again breaking down, and in the wake of the breakdown, expectations have upset, leading to people being so done with time gating. It was the number one complaint against the seasonal model. It is poison to the player base. Then saying, I'm not going to make a bunch of content on this, but just let people play the game. Release the thing you've worked so hard on. Let them play it at their own pace. Yes, some of the streamers will be done with it day one, week one, and roll through it. Some of us get on the weekends or have a few hours to play here and there. Let people play the game on their time. They will be more engaged with your game if they can play it versus going, oh, well, it's 3 weeks. One, I have no reason to jump into this today. If I have 3 weeks to play it, I'll wait till, the Sunday afternoon I have free. Or the fear of missing out, like putting heavy metal up for the week which was its own. I think I saw someone say like 10 to 15 hour grind if you wanted to get the sparrow out of that, or just buy the, if you didn't just buy the levels. Like that's its own grind for a week. And that again, like which is, I've seen a lot of people's takes on heavy metal. I really enjoyed it because I didn't treat it so seriously. But man, I got some hate mail from some people who were taking it much more seriously than I was, apparently. I'm like, guys, we are driving around in 3v3 vehicles. Relax. We're just getting game completions, picking up coins. Like, it's just not that big a deal. Like, this is not Trials. Just chill.
Donny, did you enjoy your heavy metal?
It was fun. It definitely was fun, but wasn't enough to bring me back into the PvP.
No.
But I mean,
it was very clunky as well. You could tell it was a kind of beta version of the game mode. And the map,
for some reason, the only thing that came to mind when they said like heavy metal, we're going to use vehicles, is the only thing that came to my mind was like we had in Quake, an Unreal Tournament with the multiplayer that people made their own maps for it, and we had vehicles to use.
Yeah, but they gave you a giant Jotun on the end of a tank.
But no, it's not a toaster. Just wish
not
they
everything
did a
in the
bit
world
more
is a toaster, Donny. Okay, you need to recognize the first step to solving a problem, to curing an addiction, is to admit that you have
make
a
everyone
problem
use
to
a
begin
toaster.
with. No, that's not. No.
Full immersion. Full immersion is the answer.
That is not accurate. But not everything has to be a toaster, dumb boy.
I did get a bit, because I was like, I really want to get the Sparrow, and I don't want to spend out silver, so I am going to have to dedicate a good couple of hours to playing this. And I was getting really deflated to start off with, because it was not that it was complicated to learn the vehicles, just that it was everyone else was way better than me when I jumped in, which was at the beginning of this week, because I didn't get a chance to play it at the weekend. And I wasn't like Respawn that just went bang, 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 bang. Oh, look, there's my silver gone. I've got the Sparrow. I don't need to play this. I was like, I want to play it.
I understand you're trying to shame me, but you're not. I had the silver.
No. You had.
It was there.
Yeah,
and I did.
You paid to win, so you paid to win to get the Sparrow. So yeah, you did that.
Yeah, I mean, which granted, I am happy they gave that as an option. Honestly, I'm glad they gave it as an option, and I'm glad they made it pay real money for it. Going, because again, I mean, you had to put in a good amount of time. Yes, I mean, it was hours you had to play this to get those ranks up. So yeah, I'm glad that people who couldn't, wouldn't, whatever. I'm glad they didn't time gate the Sparrow behind 10 hours of gameplay, basically, which some people can't pay for.
Yeah, somebody appreciates my genius.
Well, was it genius?
That said, I also played it because I just wanted to play around with it. Yeah, and I think they acknowledged at some point, they're like, the controls are a little squishy, and things are moving a little slow on controller. I'm like, yeah, but honestly, I played enough Saints Row, their multiplayer, which you were driving around these big 80s town cars. They kind of handled like boats anyway. I'm like, this feels like that. I feel right at home here. just turn, and the game will be like, hold on, we're getting there. There's a turn. And I didn't realize that the tanks had a boost at first, which I should have, read the screen and said, hey, here are all the controls. Yep. I just, for some reason, was thinking, well, that's weird that I wasn't a Brig for the first 8 games. I was like, am I doing something wrong? Do I ever get to be a Brig? Am I just a tank? Nope. It was just like, you need to be a tank. You need to really enjoy the tank first, then we'll let you be a Brig sometimes.
But yeah, I mean, my frustration was jumping in and trying to get the challenges done, and trying to get my ranks up as well, and just be absolutely useless at the game mode. And I lost literally, I think it must have been about 15 games in a row. And I was like, I'm never going to get to the point where I can actually get this title to get the seal, because it says I need to get 10 wins and I haven't got 1 win. And it wasn't until I figured out the mechanics of it that I was like, okay, I could do this. And then I started winning more and more games. I was like, okay, I've got this. I can do this. And then I literally unlocked it about 2 hours before they replaced it with Trials this week. And then once you've got the Sparrow and unlocked it and done the seal, it then goes, oh, by the way, you can guild this, And I'm like, I haven't got time. I haven't got time. I can't do that.
Yeah. I saw the gilding thing, but they were for 4 secret triumphs, and I'm like, I'm not going to look up or figure out what these 4 secret triumphs are.
No, they're not secret after you actually get the seal.
Oh, okay.
You get the seal, it then unlocks the gilding, and you're like, why couldn't you have just told me that before?
Again, I had a week to play this, Bungie, and I played it for your week. I don't have more time to now do the rest of this. Sorry.
No,
I tried my best. I did my week of grinding heavy metal.
Well, I'm sure it will come back, but like,
they said it would.
It seemed very short period of time, and I think a lot of people thought that it was going to be 6v6 and not 3v3. But again, assumption. Assumption.
Yeah,
shouldn't assume these things.
Well, is it assumption or miscommunication?
I mean, why can't it be both? Thank you, Peroty.
I mean, it was definitely larger in my head because again, I'm thinking back to Big Team Battle in Halo, which was bigger things, but that wasn't, and you could get into vehicles there, but I don't know if I was, taking that and putting it into the Destiny universe, or if they at some point said, oh, heavy metal, it could be tanks and brigs. We're not going to tell you how many because you'll be disappointed. But it was definitely fun to play around with, and they did say in the acknowledgement about the controls being a little squishy that yes, when we bring this back, okay, so you are bringing it back, good. That's also nice to know because sometimes you bring out a thing where like, yeah, and they're like, remember 3 years ago when you brought out heavy metal and haven't mentioned it since? So they claim they're bringing it back. Hopefully that'll actually happen.
But I mean, when they do bring it back, and say like people like Respawn and yourself that have got the triumphs and the challenges and things done, if they don't do another event around it, is it going to entice you to go back in and play as much as you have been, or is it just going to be, oh, it's up this week, I might go and play it?
If there's something there, or honestly, I think it could also be a way to, again, like entice, putting, like I know they talked about and I'm now getting all my reveals confused. Basically talked about, being able to play PvP only and, getting your ranks up and getting things up. Whereas before, in the game, you basically had
fight.
You basically had to do PvE to really rank things up. You could do PvP to a point. And I was thinking, well, this could be a way for people who are just like, I want to go grind some ranks. I would like to take some of my crafted weapons or weapons and just level them by sticking them on, like Team Scorch in a game mode where I'm not using them, and just letting them level up that way. I thought about that being an entry level into, well, let me play PvP that's not really PvP, that we're sort of on a level playing field. And yeah, if I'm good or bad, I feel much less bad if I'm getting blown up by an enemy tank or brig than the guy who outplayed me and, who is clearly better at this game than I am. Like, it's PvP on a little more even footing. Whether, again, I felt the same way. I was terrible at it. And my only plan was I'm just going to team shoot and follow my teammates around. So I think, it could be just, again, like another entryway into PvP going, if I have to do PvP, let me do heavy metal versus any other game mode, because I feel like it's less my performance than just, okay, you're making me go in here, let me go in here in a silly way like Team Scorched where we're kind of all on the same playing field, and it's a less terrible experience to the non-PvP player.
Yeah. I kind of feel that maybe they should have had a bigger map, very akin to like the First Light that we had and the Mars map that I can absolutely never remember from Destiny 1, because those maps were huge and you would fix 6 players on, and then maybe stick that into its own kind of party rotation. So you have a chance of maybe playing heavy metal 6v6, have a chance at playing Team Scorched, Mayhem, anything of those kind of party modes that are just fun to play, and you can just sit in there with your friends or just go in there solo and just have fun with it. It's nothing too hardcore. It doesn't need to be up on a weekly rotation. It just needs to be in its own little playlist, and you have a chance of maybe playing 6 games of Scorch before you get a Mayhem, before you get a heavy metal. It's just one of those kind of playlists that just rotates around, and I think people would enjoy that. But maybe that's just me.
Brings me back to my Halo days.
It's PvP, so I'm not going to be on your side regardless.
You need to be more in there, Respawn, to enjoy it.
Let me think. Hold on. Let me check my Palm Pilot right here. Carry the 1. divide by the circumference of the sun when
Or it
Neptune
might just be
is
you're not
in
playing
power.
PvP with the right people.
Hold on. Hey, I'm doing
if,
math. Wait a minute. All right, hold on.
What if
We'll be here forever?
What if we give the Brig a cape? If we give the Brig a cape, would that make it better?
No, because you know who does
not.
have a cape right now?
Oh God, you started him off again. You started him off again.
We were always going to eventually get there. It was never needing to start. We basically started the show there, and it was just when it was going to happen.
Is it a cape or a cloak?
It doesn't matter, because right now
I want to say both.
He's standing in Fortnite telling people terrible things at the moment. So he's just
no. They've turned him off from doing that. They've turned off that AI part.
Well, that's good.
He's not allowed to say nasty things anymore.
I've been banned one too many times.
Peroty, you weren't here last week for your Edge of Fate, so give us your hot takes or your takes that have taken a week to percolate.
I'm honestly kind of trying to remember what we saw.
We saw Fate,
and what I was looking at, going, okay, Edge of Fate. We're going to get things
sonic
updated.
balls of light that we turn into. We can use a strand and the dark matter to move platforms around and traverse the new planet space that we're on. There's going to be new enemies. We are also getting a new raid that we don't know anything about apart from the date, and then we're getting Star Wars. So
yeah, and that's honestly all I remember in my head is going, you can be balls of light. That's weird, but sure, Destiny, why not? The Star Wars thing is all I remember from it. Looking back,
all that anybody
and I think that's all everybody, which is also just it. There's so many Star Wars things and so much stuff right now. It really feels, again, I mean, Star Wars is fine. I don't have a love or hate with it. It's a perfectly fine thing. I'm not yeah, Star Wars or boo, Star Wars. It's fine. I enjoyed them well enough, but it just feels like it's everywhere. It's just being saturated to the point where, I mean, it's in Fortnite, it's in Destiny, it's in this, it's in here, it's over there. It's just in everywhere you look. And I'm going,
but is it in everywhere you look because you're looking in those places? Because I can guarantee you, I can say the same thing to my in-laws, because they have no, they're not going to the cinema, they're not playing games and things. It's not even on their radar, and they probably don't know and don't care. I think it's because it's saturated in the areas of popular media and places where it's trying to get the younger audience involved in it. And we've got the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith as well. So there's a lot of kind of promotion for that. And then we've got the Mandalorian and Grogu coming up next year and other spin-offs. I mean, we've just had Andor. So I think it's always been there, but it's just kind of, it seems to be that there's a lot more things kind of hitting the public space at the moment because they've got so many different things that are going on, but it's always there. It's the same with the Marvel's always there, and it's always, even when they had that off year last year, it's there's still a lot of Marvel stuff kind of going around. But
yeah, okay, yeah, I was also looking for, because I had written down a couple of thoughts the day of, which again, the movement tech was interesting, but again, it's just, I don't know. I watched most of that live and then came back to it, and still just, I don't know. Yeah. Just hit me as a weird, this is a thing you can do, but I didn't quite understand it at the moment, and I still don't know how I feel about it. But I'd written down on the day, I love the idea of the Star Wars crossover as a standalone gaming event. I would love to see them do more things as sort of standalone events. Whether it's a crossover with another IP or not, it'd be a fun excursion that wouldn't have to tie into the bigger story. Just saying, hey, here's a story, we're going to do it for this amount of time. It doesn't have greater implication with the Destiny universe. It's just a thing that also happened here. I was thinking, I'd love to see them adopt sort of a Fortnite-ish model of doing different crossovers with different people and allowing fan bases to sort of come over and cross-pollinate into the game. And I'm hoping the new director they're introducing will set up a way to help people just get into the game and simplify how you get into this decade-plus old game that's a mess been developed at this point. And I'm optimistic that it might be the best time to get into the game after this releases, because it's so hard to recommend people because it's so convoluted and complex, and there's no real entry point without a friend to literally take your hand and guide you through. So I'm hoping that, the big structural quality of life changes get people in, And, say what you will about the crossover. Again, I've got, mixed feelings about, all the Star Wars and the crossovers and stuff. It does get fan bases to be aware of other games. And again, whether it brings people in or not, at least going, hey, this is a thing that happens. Hey, this game's free to play. Maybe someone will pick it up, maybe fall in love with it, or at least pick it up and go, yeah, this is something I can add to my rotation. I'll play it, play it with my buddies every now and again. Because, I mean, the game needs to grow to exist, and growth has forever been a problem. So again, the new director in heavy metal, much easier to use, much easier to understand. Going, hey, you want to do heavy metal? You want to go see Shax in the Tower? Great. Give me the two options of what I care about for this event. Not here's a director with 17 blinking yellow icons. Find the one you're looking for. Good luck. Like that. I think the director I'm almost the most excited about coming into the game, just going, tell me what you want me to do. Tell me what's available to me. And not just, here's 1,000 things from 6 seasons ago that you played at the time, and now you're not going to go play again because you simply don't need to.
Donny, what's your take on Renegades?
Yeah, it's something new.
Yeah.
Just hope they don't. Mess up might not be the right word for it, but I just hope they can maintain it and be something more than just for an episode or a season or whatever you want to call it. So let's make it something that if it comes into the universe, if it comes into the story, it has to stay there for a point, or it has to have a meaning why they're there, and not just like, oh, they came in with a ship, we blow them up, and they're gone now. Just more story. That's actually what at least I'm asking for.
Well, I think it's nice that it's going to be inspired by Star Wars. It's not necessarily like a crossover kind of thing, but being inspired and kind of taking the ideas of kind of hunting dredgens and maybe kind of doing bounties and things. Because there's nothing wrong in kind of getting that kind of aspect from Star Wars and getting loot from it and getting things that look very Star Wars-ish. It's quite exciting, but to kind of, if it is a crossover, I don't think that would work.
No, because it's not enough of Destiny to be Destiny, but it's also not enough Star Wars to be Star Wars. So it's not completely mixed in well to make it a crossover, if you get what I mean. We've never had a legitimate crossover in Destiny.
No.
It was always just, or we're going to have some inspired missions requests, or we only get the visuals and the skins, and that's it. We just need more like legitimate crossovers, because Destiny has been in other games, and that was a legitimate crossover, but we never had it the other way around.
But don't you think that would kind of ruin Destiny? Because Destiny isn't the kind of game that you can do a crossover with. It's fine to take those characters and put them in Fortnite, or put them in like the Fall Guys or whatever else they were in. It's like, and For Honor, because there was that kind of, they're warriors, and there was the undead thing that they had kind of going. But to bring other things into Destiny and be a blatant crossover, I think would cross the line. I think to be inspired by and have similar elements that maybe could look like those kind of crossovers is fine. But I think when you start giving us like Darth Vader and the Mandalorian as NPCs or characters in the game that we can kind of interact with, I think that's when it goes too far.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, give us a little event like the Guardian games. Try to put it in a Guardian games, or put it in a Halloween event.
Yeah,
and you can do things with those. Just do it the right way, and not give us half this, half that, and because they're branding it as a crossover, but the only thing we're getting is actually just skins. Well, and I know you love your.
I mean, that is what a crossover is. It's just you're crossing over with something else. It doesn't have to be like gameplay involved. I mean, yes.
They're getting money from both ways, because they're getting money from Disney because it's Star Wars, and they're also getting money from the player base that actually want to look like Star Wars characters in Destiny. So it's only money, and not for the players.
I mean, as long as you're not getting boned about what Star Wars character you were supposed to get, and instead the other class that Bungie likes to fondle their gets instead.
But they want to be more like us.
Listen, it's not our fault that
you're saying more like us, but
ago,
they're not even letting us be us. You know, they're giving us to someone else. We can't even be us. So how can somebody else be us if there is no us to be? Yeah,
so
let that cook in your noodle for a little bit.
Use your body to get to the top.
Exactly. We can't be happy no matter who we are.
That's a personal failing. It's a video
game.
No,
that's Bungie doing it to us. I'd be happier if
happier.
hunter-related things actually got to the hunters instead of the titans. That's what I'm saying. You know, the dodge, titan. Cloaks, titan. I mean, everything that a hunter gets, titan. Invisibility, titan. I mean, what's left for hunters? Nothing. Hunters don't exist anymore. We're not even a thing. Bungie just makes titans hunters now. Titans can be titans and hunters at the same time forever.
Which is why no one plays hunter anymore. It's really sad that it's not like, you know, but the majority of players being hunters. It's really sad that it's dropped off so far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why Bungie keeps taking our stuff. It's like, oh no, we don't like hunters. I know everybody else likes hunters, but we personally can't stand them for whatever reason. It's like Frankenstein. They hate their own creation. That's what it is. They've made hunters the way that hunters are so that everybody loves them. And then like, you know what? We don't like you anymore. You're Frankenstein's monster, and I'm Frankenstein. So I'm going to do everything I can to destroy you. That's exactly what they've been doing ever since, you know, Destiny 2. Because it wasn't so bad in Destiny 1, honestly, because I played all 3 characters. I still mained a hunter, but, you know, at least at that point, I didn't really have any Titan hate.
It's... Demon, you remember those little wind-up toys of like little monkey where you wind him up and he just goes clap, 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 like walks across the table? Same thing. Yeah. Same picture. Yeah, but I'm I don't know. I think it's something Donny touched on earlier of just like, you know, how many years ago would it have been nice to like simplify the UI, make it a little more understandable? Like, again, I've had friends that are you know, like big longtime WoW players and longtime other, you know, players of other things going, you know, I see you play Destiny. I know of Destiny. You know, like everyone else, you know, downloaded it for free, dipped in a time or two here and there, and are like, would you recommend it? And at the time I was like, well, you know, wait for the final shape. You know, this big expansion coming out is sort of the end of all this. Like, if you're going to get into it, like that would be the time, whether you're going to buy anything extra or not, like that would be the time to do it with all this new content dropping. Like, you don't want to start new things and then have them be taken from you, you know, 2 weeks later when the new content drops. And then it was like, yeah, it's here. But then it's just like, do you really want to get into this game at this point? Is it really something you can get into without, again, having a Sherpa guide to take your hand and go, this is how this works? And I'm just really hoping that this, you know, just the simplification of how this game works will maybe bring some more people in, because it is like, I don't know, again, how you begin to play this game without someone to help you or someone's to help you. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's gone way beyond the point of actually building it into the game, because a lot of people were saying that the best version of getting people into the game was when we had the final shape, because there was this and this and this to try and onboard people. But even that over time is kind of, people have realized that it's still not the best version of trying to get people into the game. So hopefully the portal kind of does work, but if it doesn't, then they're going to have to think about how they onboard new players, because they can't just keep letting players come to the game and then just go, no, this isn't for me.
Right. Yeah. Well, at the same time going, well, our player base is aging and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm going, yeah, because how do you onboard people into this game? Like, there's never been a good answer to that in the last decade. And yeah, they built something, but like so many things, it's like, oh, we built this new light experience, and then just kind of never went back to it. They're like, oh, we built it, like, and is that it? Are you not gonna, you know, take the feedback and iterate on it and make it a better thing? Nope, we're gonna build it once and go, well, we built you a thing. You press the button, you receive the bacon, and now what? You want more? You want there to be more from us? Like, I don't know. I just, I want my game to succeed. I want my game to do well. It's you know, it's my second longest relationship practically in life.
When is your Bustany? When is your Destiny anniversary? What the hell is Bustany?
I don't know. Is that like Destiny or Chestiny?
I have no idea. I don't know where that word came from.
Don't know. Don't keep track of it because I was not a day one alpha vet. I was a like week one. Picked it up from GameFly or GameFly Redbox, something like that. Picked it up, going, hey, this is a thing. You should try it out. Okay, I'll try it out. From the guys who made Halo. I don't know. Week one, week two. I late enough that I missed the first time Xur sold Gjallarhorn, and then I've been trapped here ever since.
It's all right.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a beta veteran because it was only on beta for the Xbox, but I missed the Gjallarhorn, and I was even playing it that week. So I was like, "What's this? I don't need this." People are telling me I don't need this. I don't need it. I do need it. I obviously did need it.
Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
It is.
It is indeed.
Nobody ever says the thing.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm really just at the point with this game where like the new loot, and the new mission, and a new exotic. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Give me new quality of life changes. Give me a UI that's more responsive. Give me a game I can get into quicker without having it verify my content for 45 seconds every time. Like that honestly would be bigger things that would help me, recommend this game to people, is just being like, it will be a good experience to play it. I don't have to say, yeah, no, get on this game. Here's the laundry list of things you have to be aware of first, though. Here's all the things that are going to be weird and broken with it. Like, just fix the quality of life. And then you can have all the pretty exotics and stuff you want, just once we have a good, stable game.
This is your weekly rundown of episode Heresy, week 16, starting on May 20th. This week sees another dungeon enter the rotation for the new limited time event, Rite of the Nine, which is free to all players with no dungeon keys required. Found in the Eternity node, each week one dungeon will be the featured dungeon for the week, with the Ghost of the Deep, Prophecy, and Spire of the Watcher. This week's featured dungeon will be the Ghost of the Deep. Rite of the Nine is available in 3 versions. Explorer mode for guardians who are new to dungeons, with tooltips explaining mechanics, no darkness zones, 5-second revive timer, and waypointing. Eternity mode for more experienced guardians, and Ultimatum mode for a tougher challenge, tougher enemies, tougher modifiers, and greater rewards. With a selection of 12 returning dungeon weapons with updated perks, a new 9 theme aesthetic, and even adept weapons for those who take on the hardest challenge. Weapon attuning is also available, similar to how the Brave Arsenal works in Onslaught. Weapons available are the Arc Precision Frame Auto Rifle Prosecutor, the Strand High Impact Frame Pulse Rifle Relentless, the Strand Adaptive Frame Hand Cannon Judgment, the Void Aggressive Frame Shotgun A Sudden Death, the Void Double Frame Grenade Launcher Wilder Flight, the Arc Aggressive Frame Scout Rifle Long Arm, the Stasis Heavy Burst Sidearm Liminal Vigil, the Arc High Impact Frame Machine Gun Terminus Horizon, the Stasis Wave Frame Grenade Launcher New Pacific Epitaph, the Solar Aggressive Frame Submachine Gun No Survivors, the Solar Rapid Fire Glaive Greasy Luck, and the Stasis Aggressive Frame Rocket Launcher Cold Comfort. All of these weapons come with the new Origin trait called Gravity Well. When reloading, this weapon automatically gathers nearby ammo, which is exclusive to these weapons. This week also sees the return of Valor Saladin, as he arrives in the tower for the 4th time this episode, bringing with him the Iron Banner. This is a week-long free-to-play Crucible event, which means there will be no Trials of Osiris at the weekend. Power level is disabled, meaning you can go to Iron Banner with whatever weapons and armor you would like. Iron Banner also brings with it challenges and a seal to become an Iron Lord. For episode Heresy, Iron Banner has now been broken up into 2 playlists, with each one replacing an existing node on the Crucible Director. Iron Banner Control will replace the existing Control node, and Iron Banner Quick Play will be the new home for Eruption, Fortress, Tribute, and Rift game modes in the Quick Play playlist. If you need a refresh or just want to know more about the Iron Banner, then check out our most recent guide. This episode's new weapon is the Arc Adaptive Frame Trace Rifle Warlord Spear, and returning weapon is the Stasis Adaptive Burst Sidearm Peace Bomb. Plus, we have a new weapon added to the loot pool for the latter part of this episode, introducing the new Solar Lightweight Frame Scout Rifle Nature Reclaimed, rolling in the 3rd column with Outlaw, Killing Wind, Rapid Hit, Shoot to Loot, Lone Wolf, and Hill Clip. In the 4th column, Desperate Measures, Box Breathing, Explosive Payload, Incandescent, Precision Instrument, and Kill Clip. This episode's emblem is called Saladin's Pride, and shader is called Banner's Bearer. Episode Revenant brought with it the Iron Banner Memento, which you can put into your crafted weapons to gain access to the shader Iron Banner Keepsake, and title of Seaver's Bane. Plus, the Iron Intent armor set from episode Revenant is still earnable. The 5th and final Iron Banner this episode will begin on June 17th, and conclude at the weekly reset on June 24th. If Iron Banner and dungeons aren't your thing and you finished episode Heresy story, you have some time to catch up before the Edge of Fate begins on July 15th, giving you some time to finish anything from episode Echoes, episode Revenant, as well as Heresy. Or you could complete your Nightfall Conquest Seal, play some Gambit, or even go for Ascendant in competitive Crucible. Act 2 of episode Heresy brought with it the new activity, the Court of Blades. Set within the Dreadnought's Hold of Souls area, players are transported to different arenas across the system, from Io to Europa and on board a Hive warship. Court of Blades has 2 difficulty options, Normal and Expert, with the deck versions of the Act 2 weapons only dropping in the Expert version. Also, the Grandmaster Nightfall note is available, giving Guardians the opportunity to complete their Conquest Seal for this episode. With this note becoming available, this gives Guardians the chance to jump ahead and complete Act 3's Nightfalls. These being the Warden of Nothing, Week 17, May 27th, and the Sun the Cell, Week 18, June 3rd. Or conversely, you'll be able to complete Act 1 and Act 2's Grandmasters, which are now not available. Sart's Battlegrounds Moon, Lake of Shadows on the EDZ, Scarlet Keep on the Moon, Hypernet Current on Europa, Hive's Battlegrounds Mars, and the Sart's Battlegrounds Cosmodrome. Act 1 of episode Heresy brought with it the new 3-player activity, the Nether. Set within the Dreadnought Patrol Zones, Guardians fight in random and varied encounters with different events and objectives every time. The Nether has 3 modes: the Nether Exploration for those solo types who want to just explore the Dreadnought, a match-made mode on baseline advanced difficulty, and a selectable non-match-made expert version. From Act 3 of episode Revenant, we have the new exotic mission, Kel's Fall, where you can earn the new Void Exotic Shotgun, Slayer's Fang, and new Prison of Elders challenge, Kel's Vengeance, which can be found over in the Last City for 2 to 3 players. Act 2 of episode Revenant brought with it the Tomb of Elders, and Contest of Elders over in the Last City, which can be accessed after you complete the initial steps of Act 2. Also available for a weekly pinnacle is the Salvation Jade Raid, over in the Pale Heart, and new dungeon, Sundered Doctrine, which can be found over on the Throne World, with the exotic linear fusion rifle Finality's Ager up for grabs, and a whole suite of new weapons and armour. Just make sure to visit Icor over in the tower to pick up the quest Drowning Labyrinth to enter. Over in the Last City we have Onslaught Salvation, which can be accessed after you complete the initial steps of the opening act of Revenant. This version of Onslaught brings with it new defences, 3 maps that are not in the Vanguard playlist version, and new enemies to fight. You can select from Widow's Court, Eventide Ruins, and Kel's Grave, either normal or expert. Also, the original Onslaught has been updated to include some of the new additions. Located in the Vanguard playlist, the featured Onslaught map this week will be Mothyards, with a Fallen War Priest kicking off the boss rotation. In the Last City on the Helm, the exotic mission Encore is still available, with 2 difficulty options, Normal and Expert. Also, from episode Echoes, we have the 3 new Battleground activities, Delve, Conduit, and Core, with Enigma Protocol and Breach Executable. The Expert Battlegrounds will start this week's rotation with Core. The Dreaming City this week is at a medium curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in the Divilian Mist and has the Oracle Engine mission for the next week. The Blindwell features Hive enemies and the Plague Kragar. The Ascendant Chant will be the Shattered Ruins over in the Spine of Keris. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is a Mysterious Disturbance. The Drove Guardian is located in the Anchor of Light, while the Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Jax, Claws of Zevra Wrath at the Hellmouth. Nightmare hunts Crota, Despair, Fogoth, Fear, and Ghoul, Rage. The Altars of Sorrow start this week's rotation with the Nightmare of Zydron and the Heretic Rocket Launcher. On Europa this week, Phylax the Warrior will be the Empire Hunt, Asterian's Abyss will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Agility. Dares of Eternity Expert difficulty rounds are Fallen, Hive, and Zydron. The Scatterhorn armor set and the Wild Hunt armor set will be available in Dares of Eternity with Weapon Set 1. Arsenic Bite 4B, Blasper 2, Corsair's Wrath, Deafening Whisper, Dire Promise, Enigma's Draw, Escape Velocity, Giant 7 Rifle, Friction Fire, Royal Chase, True Prophecy, and Timeline's Vertex. The Witch Queen weekly story mission is The Ghost, Altar of Reflections Catalyst, and Altar of Reflections Pact. The Wellspring activity will start the week on Defense, with Void Sniper, Father Sin, and Zurich, Scorn Raider as the boss. The Lightfall weekly mission is Downfall, the Partition mission will be Ordnance, and the Vex incursion will be Umshire Park. In the Pale Heart, the exotic mission Dual Destiny is still available for teams of 2 Guardians, where you can farm the mission to earn as many new prismatic exotic class items as you like. The Final Shakes Cooperative Focus campaign mission this week will be Iconoclasm. The 12 Guardian Match-Made Excision mission is also available next to the race for a weekly pinnacle, with the Grandmaster version granting the Ergo Sum Catalyst and an Ascendant Shard. The Salvation Jade Raid Chant this week is the 3rd encounter repository called Balanced Diet. The Root of Nightmares Raid Chant this week is the 1st encounter Cataclysm called Illuminated Torment. The Kingsfall Raid Chant this week is the 5th encounter Oryx called Hands Off. The Vow the Disciple Challenge this week is the 2nd encounter The Caretaker called Base Information. The Deepstone Crypt Challenge this week is the 3rd encounter Tanix Part 1 called Of All Trades. The Garden of Salvation Challenge this week is the 4th encounter Sanctified Mind called 0 to 100. And the last Swiss challenge this week is the 5th encounter, Riven, called Strength of Memory. Featured Pinnacle Raid 1 will be Crota's End over in the Legends tab. And featured Pinnacle Raid 2 will be the Vault of Glass, also in the Legends tab, with all challenges available for all encounters. With the exotic auto rifle Necrochasm being farmable from the final boss in Crota's End, and the exotic fusion rifle Vex Myth class from the final boss in Vault. Featured Pinnacle Dungeon 1 will be the Prophecy over in the Legends tab. And featured Pinnacle Dungeon 2 will be the Ghost of the Deep, also in the Legends tab. The exotic mission rotator will be Vox Obscura, with the Dead Messenger exotic grenade launcher being the main reward. The Season of Risen's weapon set, plus the Tusk Allegiance armor set. The exotic missions, the Whisper and Zero Hour will also be available in the Legends tab. This week's challenges are Heresy weapon defeats, Cosmodrome activities, Superpowered Ritual, Potent Projectiles, Stranded, and Bank Kill Repeat. Lost Sectors, Tuesday the Blooming Deep in the Pale Heart, Wednesday Bunker E15 on Europa, Thursday Perdition on Europa, Friday Veil's Labyrinth on the Cosmodrome, Saturday Exodus Garden 2A on the Cosmodrome, Sunday Aphelios Rest on the Dreaming City, and Monday Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City. The Grandmaster Nightfalls continue this week with our 16th featured Nightfall, which should see us face off against Kargan, the Technocrat in the Insight Terminus over on Nessus, with the Slated Sword, the Slammer, as the featured adept weapon. The 6v6 playlist will be Iron Banner Control. The 6v6 quick play mode should be Iron Banner Rift, Survival should be in the small team's quick play, and Hardware Supremacy will also be available, with no Trials of Osiris at the weekend. This week should also see bonus Gambit Reputation available all week long. And as a reminder, the annual Moments of Triumph continue, with a collection of 33 challenges celebrating everything you've been able to achieve in this past year. If you've been active, you'll likely already have some of these completed, which just gets you closer to the 26 you'll need to earn the 2024 seal and title. Still available is the Destiny 10th Anniversary in-game celebration event, and don't forget to keep an eye on there this Friday at Reset to see if he's offering another chance to grab a random rolled exotic class item for 41 strange coins. And that's it for the 16th week of the Final Shape episode Heresy.
So did either of you run your GMs to get your free extra exotic drop?
Nope.
Your free extra adept of the Cruel
Yes, I did.
Mercy? Yeah,
and yes, you. Wait, what? Cold Mercy? Wait, what?
The free pulse rifle you got with every adept exotic or
every purchase.
Yes.
with every purchase of some random gun that I don't remember, you too could get a Cruel Mercy adept. It will have rolls on it. Might they be garbage? Maybe. Might they be good? Also maybe. But
I got a Cruel Mercy. I didn't get the adept, but when you look into that, there's really no good rolls for it anyway. Honestly, you know.
So what do we think about? Hey, here's our new gun. Just run a GM and you can get one with purchase.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of liked that it was, hey, run this and we'll just add it to your drops at the end, or a chance for drops at the end. Thought that was a nice touch and way to sort of introduce a gun where it's like, I don't have to play I want this gun and it's going to be up in 7 weeks when this Nightfall comes out, or when do they say be available? Just go play the thing that's there, and we'll add it to the pool. We'll add it to the drop list. I think that was a nice way to do it. Again, like you said, it's maybe not a great weapon. Like, I haven't used the 2 I have sitting in my Postmaster, but they exist, and I got them, so that's a win.
I'm gonna be back. I got to do dad stuff for a few minutes.
So you didn't have a chance for any Nightfalls for any adepts or any Cruel Mercy?
No, I as I said, I just did like heavy metal. I was like,
priorities.
I can do this, or I can do this.
Yep. Yeah, I think I ran a couple with blue, and we found a third person who was just like, I just want to do some runs, just chill and get some runs done, and it was the Warden of Nothing, whatever that one's called, and rolled through it with no problem. So I was like, all right, I've got these. Add them to the collection. He was like, you've done some GMs. I go, yeah, I do that every year or so.
Well, I mean, I suppose we could, as there's just kind of a couple of us left, we could go and talk through This Week in Destiny, because it's going to be really short this week for us, because we've already discussed the Rite of the 9 calendar issues, because they were issues, and Bungie have clarified what they were talking about, but let's face it, you didn't kind of explain that to us. But starting on June 17th, all Rite of the 9 dungeons will be available to play at any time on any difficulty, and increased currency drops will be active for all 3 dungeons. Each week, a featured dungeon will have increased weapon drops, so there'll still be a featured dungeon for those weeks, and that will begin with Spire the Watcher on June 17th, followed by Ghost of the Deep on the 24th of June, and ending with Prophecy on the 1st of July. On July 8th, a Looter Palazzo will begin, with all 3 dungeons having all the reward bonuses enabled for the final week of episode Heresy, alongside a new way to spend your nunnery manifold currency. I think that's nunnery. Nunnery. It's a nunnery! Anyway, so yes, there's going to be holofoils, there's going to be adepts. So yeah, that's it. There's good stuff coming. And it's going to be on a 2-week rotation. So we get Ghost of the Deep coming up this week for 2 weeks, and then finally Prophecy for the final 2 weeks. So yeah, that's cool. Cool. We've finished our heavy metal challenges and triumphs. We've either paid our way or we've actually done it legit, and we've got a seal. And if you did get the seal, you can go to the Bungie store to actually buy the little pin. There's going to be increased Trials of Osiris ranks now, active now. And you're also going to be getting the Aisha's Care Adepts and the Inquisitor. So I've heard good things about the Inquisitor. So go and play that. Iron Banner, starting on May 20th, not May 24th, as previously stated in a TWAB. Iron Banner will be back for another week, and Saladin will be in the tower giving away the new weapon, the Nature Reclaimed, which is a solar scout rifle. It's a lightweight one, and it's got the kill clip roll on it that everybody would like. So go and try and get that. Yeah, I mean, if you saved up some of your engrams, then you have more of a chance to kind of pop a couple of engrams and get it to start off with, and then you can just throw engrams at him and go, please, sir, I'd like some more. Also next week,
loot.
Yeah. Also next week, we're getting the hardware supremacy in the rotator, and that is, supremacy, but with hardware. Those,
Are you also having a hard time remembering which modifiers those are? I'm going, I know I've played them. I know they exist, but which one is hardware again?
Yeah, hardware modifier is the one where they take away the supers and the abilities. And the momentum one is where they up the damage of the weapons, but you still have supers and abilities.
Okay, yeah, so hardware limited, is guns only, basically.
Yeah, gun game.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you have to pick up the tokens.
You do.
Yeah.
They'll be slightly smaller than when you're driving tanks and Brigs around.
Yeah. And we have a Bungie Foundation thing. It's the Bungie Bounty for Good returns next week with a brand new emblem up for grabs. So join them in the Crucible on May 22nd. Are you sure it's May 22nd and not 24th? Just checking, Bungie, because you seem to get your dates wrong. At 10 a.m. PT for your first shot and the Faster Than Light emblem. They'll be entering the fight as a fire team of just 2, which means they're calling on calling on 4 Guardians to join us in each match. And this is your chance to spend time, squad up with the Foundation team, fight for a good cause, and help us rack up wins in style. Are they going to be in Iron Banner?
Well,
where are they hiding?
Iron Banner starts, but they're not going to be there till the 22nd. So we can join them in the Iron Banner on Thursday.
No, but are they in the Iron Banner? Does it say they'll be in the Iron Banner?
I mean, it says in Crucible, so
Crucible's a big place.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. You would hope it would be Iron Banner, but they don't really say.
No.
Calling on 4 Guardians to join us in each match. So they're playing a 6v6 game mode at least. So Iron Banner potentially. Yeah. It'd be nice if you told us where, guys. Where can we join you? I mean, we can't because work.
We'll have to watch. You have to watch them on the Bungie Foundation Twitch channel next Thursday at 10 a.m. PT to find out where they are, to then try and hook up with them. There you go.
Yep.
Do that.
Yeah. Or you can give them money for the Gauntlet 2025 campaign. They raised over $65,000, and you can still get your Fired Up emblem if you head over to their Tiltify page, or have your self-portrait or a picture of a furry friend hand-drawn by a Bungie staffer. And all proceeds will support gamers engaged in their Play It Forward fund. Fund providing grants to small organizations making real change in mental health, education, and community. It closes, by the time you hear this, it'll be closed, May 18th. So if you're hearing this live, you're good. If it's Sunday already, May 18th, you missed it. You should have given the money before. Sorry, we tried, but we don't try that hard. So you could do things, you could get things, and then you'll get beautiful things. But again, it'll be over by the time you hear this, so it won't matter.
No.
But guess what? We had one of our longtime friends will be leaving us this week, Nitedemon.
No.
One of our longtime patch notes. We're known issues will be leaving us.
I'm so excited you're back to tell us about this.
So we did have, they had a missed patch note where we got update 8.2.6 this week. They fixed the issue with the sumptuous repast upgrade within the reshaping slab. It was providing extra damage when consuming sigil stones, even when the suffocating terror debuff was not applied. The upgrade will now function as intended. Now, the rest of the update, though, Spyro the Watcher fixed an issue where defeating Perseus did not count for the first watch and elegant arsenal quests, and an issue where the proper rewards were not dropping from the final chest. The Sunless Cell Grandmaster didn't offer Pinnacle Gear rewards. Now it does. They fixed an issue where if you're playing Kate's Fate in the completion and the timeline reflection, it didn't progress the timeline. Now it will. But most importantly, we are saying goodbye to our longtime friend, the Ionic Sentry not chaining lightning. Because they have fixed the issue where the Ionic Sentry did not chain lightning for the Warlocks. So they finally fixed that after many, many weeks of talking about it every week. So congratulations, Chain Lightning, you finally work again. Your reroll chip, you can't buy them anymore. And you can't buy them anymore anyway, because heavy metal's done. So if you had reroll chips, you couldn't buy them. They do say they are going to plan to reintroduce these in the next iteration of heavy metal, so it's coming back at some point. They were disabled due to a stacking issue. I don't know. I finished it out before. I don't know. I guess I never purchased any chips. I got the chips from playing, so I don't know. But yeah, heavy metal's over, so it's a moot point. But they'll fix it next time. But if you had reroll chip issues, that's sad, and now it doesn't matter. But now, let's see if we have different known issues. Have we fixed any other things? So the Explorer difficulty in the Rite of the Nine dungeons requires PlayStation Plus if you're playing solo. So once again, just don't buy a PlayStation. Problem solved. They want you to have all these things for not using it. That seems silly. Some Rite of the Nine weapons drop with a 0 power level. I've got one of those sitting in my Postmaster.
I have
no power. This can be fixed by infusing another weapon. I know it can be, but shouldn't you have just given me something with, I have a Wilder Flight that I think has the holofoil because it's got the little shiny icon on it, but it just has no number under it at all. So I'm guessing it's 0 power. Double perks, but no power. The Cruel Mercy Pulse Rifle drops without a masterwork. Did I notice it didn't have a masterwork? No, I didn't, because I hadn't pulled it from my inventory yet. And my Postmaster, no, sure enough, no masterwork. Good times. So yeah, fancy new gun, no masterwork. The champ title has lost its gilded status. I think it lost it before too, and they fixed it a while back as well. The enhanced recycled energy grants no energy back. So they've enhanced the recycled energy so much that you get nothing back. When speaking to a vendor, you can still hear their ambient dialogue. Hey, Drowning Labyrinth quest completers, step 6 and 9, still can't complete them due to account scoped or character scoped issues. Grab your other character, bring them in, get them to the same level, hope for the best. You're taking Relic in the risk encounter of Derealize exotic mission. Sometimes can drop below the surface of the floor, but just sometimes. Hey, those Shrieker bosses in Sunder Doctrine, still not doing crit damage, still regular damage, doesn't matter what the screen tells you. When tracking Ikora's Dreading Labyrinth quest, completion of certain steps may still stop progress on the next steps. And sometimes the Tome of Wanted Primer quest does not progress after meeting steps 3 and 4 requirements. Mementos can still be shaded onto armor. Still no plans for that. And your Seeking Filaments and Spirit of Filaments still can't grant Devour with the Path of Protection equipped. Can't be done. So, a couple new things, couple old things. Couple things that they may have just moved off this list but are still broken. And there's a known issues link if you're really all that curious. And then we have people doing hard things, making them look easy, making the rest of us look bad, solo flawlessing things.
Yeah.
And they had a stream, they had a reveal, they've done things, they've streamed and revealed. Lots of calendar updates, and that's the TWAB. They did mention they're aware of an issue where the competition reward area on Lord Shaxx has been pushed down below the page, and that the rewards cannot be claimed. Once Heavy Metal ends on Friday, players will be able to claim items from this area again. So, if you were unable to claim things due to Heavy Metal, congratulations. You should be able to claim them again. Calendar, and calendar. Nope, that's it. So everything else is all calendar related. Of no, we're doing this. No, we're actually doing this. No, we're actually going to do this. And presumably that's where that's where we're going to be. All right. Well, that was our roundup. Have there been any YouTube videos that were not directly related to Marathon this week, or again the handful of Bungie can't calendar good stop time getting content to, hey guys, Bungie listened and calendared better and stopped time getting content and actually explained to us what they were going to do, and then tomorrow it'll be something different.
Yeah. Well, I do have a video from Say Wallabra this week. It's impossible to beat this new best shotgun in the game. Ooh. And this is the Inquisitor that you can get from Trials at the moment. And he's telling everybody that they need Opening Shot and Lone Wolf. And you can get something like near close to 100 range and stability and handling on it. And that's not even with it being an Adept version. So you should go into Trials and get one. That's what he says. But yeah, the rest of this week just was Marathon doing stuff, Bungie apologizing, and stupid stuff.
Yep.
Just nothing. Yeah, nothing to do with Destiny. That was good for the community. So
yeah. There were a couple things. There were a couple like tips and tricks on like Heavy Metal that I sort of grabbed of going, hey, if you could use a little bit of insight into this, but that's kind of over at this point. So when they if and when they bring it back, maybe those will be valid again. But until then, not really worth sharing tips and tricks on a game mode you can't play anymore.
No.
But don't worry, come Tuesday we'll have a whole new set of here's what you should grind for, here's what you should get, here's the actual weapons you can try to target and you should actually receive. So if you have, like us, have gone into the targeting and said, I would like this gun please, and that didn't come from a dungeon that is up right now, you could go change it to one of the Ghost of the Deep weapons, and then you'll have a chance of actually getting it if you run Ghost of the Deep, which I think I've run like one time only, and I think excited is the wrong word. I don't think I'm excited to run it again, but I'm curious to run it on like the easier mode just to sort of remember it and go through
and
it
see
again.
If the following week they go, oh, by the way, if you want an exotic, you can pick this one again. It's like
yeah, exactly. Yeah, go visit the Rite of the Nine people. Pick up your quests before you run the dungeons. Don't do like I did and get the first week quest, but not the second week quest, and then run the whole thing and only to come back and say, "Oh, I should have picked up that quest too. I could have gotten it all done in one." Yeah, go visit the Nice Foot Lady. Pick up your quests, then go run your dungeon on whatever difficulty you're running it on.
So where are we at? Are we in the TWAB? Are we in the updates? What are we doing? What are you doing?
We've finished. We've updated. We
videoed it.
You should tell me whether the No Survivor submachine gun, the new Pacific Epitaph grenade launcher, the Greasy Luck Glaive, or the Cold Comfort rocket launcher, if any one of those are worth targeting out of Ghost of the Deep.
A rocket launcher, for sure. It was previously a DPS meta, and it is a DPS meta, or at least very close to it again. So yes, the rocket launcher is something you should chase if you're having a curiosity as to which one you should chase.
All right. Well, there we go. So come Tuesday when Ghost of the Deep could be Bungie, could be our featured dungeon. Go there and say, I would like the Cold Comfort rocket launcher, please. And then you'll actually have focused a weapon that is available to you.
Yeah, and the roles you should be looking for, out of curiosity, just so you know, it's got a bunch of good stuff. It's got Envious Arsenal with bait and switch, which is always good, right? It's got tracking module if you're into that. It's got chill clip just for champions and ad clear. You could also go explosive light if you're into that. A good combo would be like reconstruction explosive light. That's not bad at all. You could have, because you got to keep in mind, explosive light. You can get up to six stacks, right? So with the rocket launcher, the explosive light. His mind. No, it's still good, right? And then you have reconstruction, which is good too. Freaking elemental honing is on there now, so if you're into that, you can do the chill clip rhyme stealers. So you freeze things and you blow them up for armor. I mean, there's a lot of good rolls on that. So yeah, if you don't have the cold comfort, then I would chase that as one of the first ones. And then the intrinsics are what? Gravity well, reloading this weapon automatically gathers nearby ammo, or restoration ritual, which reviving allies or defeating combatants with finishers reloads this weapon, always good on a rocket launcher, and readies an emergency ammo refill for the next time this weapon runs out of ammo. So, don't know what that one does in practice, but that's what it is.
Panic reload for the win. Yeah. And you can either try to get your navigator, or you already got your navigator because you just picked it up out of the chest. But that's the exotic for that dungeon. Yeah, that's what's available. That's what's there. And that's it. We have one hunter. We've lost our other one due to power outages. And that kind of feels like it.
It does. And I'm glad you're back this week to tell us who to thank. Because last week...
Before you get into that, for the videos, did y'all cover the Mactix build?
No? Tell us about it.
Did we know about the Mactix build?
Yeah, so Mactix has a build out that he actually uses Choir of One as the main weapon. And then if you have the exotic class item, and you can get Spirit of Inmost Light and Spirit of the Grifalcon on the Hunter. There's a Hunter build, by the way, if you didn't pick up on that. It's basically, the gun just hits really, really hard with this build, and you have a lot of ability spam, a lot of freezing, it's really, really good. I've been testing it out, and it was good on medium content. I haven't tried it on high content yet, or end game content, I should say. But at least in the content that I have tried it in, it's been really good, right? So, it just turns Choir of One into an absolute monster the way it should have been from the beginning, essentially.
Is that become the onslaught with this new favorite hunter build? Build from Mactix 5 days ago?
Indeed.
Very good.
Oh, and the super builds real fast. Sorry.
You know who else is super build real fast? Renard, Kalant, and Zep Orbit. They're super build real fast because we try to threaten them with a good time and it can't be done. Our Otter Dance Troop, also supers, phenomenal. Scarlet Cayman did a M64. Our grenade throwers, who throw their grenades to build their super, of course. Golden God 1562 Noble. Fire Squad 1688, the man Conan from Texas and Feral. And Deacon's Day 1 raid team of Gravy Jeff, who's going to solo all the dungeons, all the content, and just be the most impeccably powerful guardian you've ever seen in your life. Until next week, when you see us being powerful guardians, doing things, not driving tanks or bricks, though. Thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty and Nitedemon. Your hunter is no one responds in real life. Your other hunter, who is roaming in the dark, is Don. Don will be back one day. Maybe. You should find this show. We're on YouTube. Go there, get all the videos, do all the things, like all the content. If you've got thoughts, email the show, 2titansanahunter@hotmail.com. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on YouTube. Every new episode, weekly update, live stream, it's all there. 2titansanahunter.com will get you all the show notes, all the links, all the things we talk about, anything we've mentioned, talked about, linked to, it'll all be there. For now, for forever, for 2 years ago, it's all there. Just go there, find it, it'll be beautiful. If you want a more casual encounter with us, you can go to coffee.com, ko-fi.com/2titansanahunter, and buy the nice British man a coffee because he loves his coffee very much. Or you can go to patreon.com/TTH and say, I appreciate what you do. Here's some things to help you appreciate it and do it slightly better. If you want to follow a live version of the show, twitch.tv/no-one-responds in real life, it also gives you the ability to yell at him every Saturday if there's a stream or not. And if you want to see Trials Tuesday or whatever else might be happening on some Tuesday mornings, twitch.tv/2titansanahunter. Go there, follow, hit the bell, hit the button. You'll know when things happen, because do we know when things happen? No. That's why we give you a button to hit. You can press it, and then you too can be in the know. Until next week, say goodbye, gents.
Bye, gents.
Deuces.
Deuces?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.